the Check Me Out cardigan, and I thought I'd take you through the whole process of me designing, writing and releasing this pattern. Hopefully by the time you're seeing this, the pattern will be out and the link will be in the description below. But I thought I'd just bring you along on the journey with me, because the pattern writing and releasing process is a pretty long and lengthy one. So I thought I'd just show you what I do. I would still definitely consider myself a newbie pattern designer. I don't even think I'd call myself a pattern designer, but I'd still consider myself a newbie in releasing patterns, and I had no idea where to start. So I figured this would be maybe helpful for some people, or if you're just intrigued about the process. This is what the cardigan looks like. It's a really cute checkerboard v-neck cardigan with some lovely extra wide ribbing. Here is the back. It's a super cute addition to my wardrobe. I absolutely love chucking this on any outfit. I am going to take it off though, because it is hot today. It's like the end of July. It's really, really hot. If you can hear the fan going, it's hot. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, it's boiling today, so that needs to be removed from my body ASAP Rocky. I actually made the Check Me Out cardigan, I'm pretty sure like the end of 2023, and I worn it a bunch. Like, it's become such a staple in my wardrobe. I love just throwing it on an outfit to make it like a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting. I honestly just love a good cardigan, to be fair. Like, I realise I'm very much a cardigan person. I like wearing it undone with like a cute top under it, or doing it up and then not having it on anything underneath. But I love it. It's become a favourite in my wardrobe, and I do wear it quite a lot, and I wear it quite a lot in some of my TikTok videos, and I've had quite a few comments asking if there's a pattern, or asking if I'd be willing to do a pattern, and there was enough interest for me to be encouraged to write a pattern for it. Where I kind of got the inspiration from was actually from a cardigan that I already owned. This is from Collusion from ASOS, and I've had this cardigan for maybe about 4 years, a really, really long time. I absolutely love this cardigan. This is another one that I absolutely wear to death. It is a beautiful color palette. I am a slut for anything checkerboard. I love checkerboard things. If it's checkerboard, I want it. I think it's maybe the millennial in me, but I just love a good checkerboard. I think they're just so fun, and you can really get creative with the color palettes as well. But yeah, so this was actually the first cardigan, the checkerboard cardigan that I owned. I loved it. I was like, I actually want another one. And then when I started crocheting, I was like, huh, I can make my own. And it was only kind of when I got really quite confident in freehanding that I decided to tackle it, because I'd never done any kind of color changing. I'd never done any checkerboard or any kind of like tapestry work in that sense. I had made cardigans and v-neck cardigans, so I felt like, okay, now is time for me to marry up those two things, and I can freehand my own. It's a motorbike. When I made my original one, I actually didn't intend to write a pattern or release a pattern. I think when I was freehanding back then, I actually hadn't released a pattern at all. And it's actually so interesting, because I talked about this recently on one of my TikToks, but I actually have never set out to be a pattern designer. I don't even think I'd really call myself a pattern designer, because that's just like not where I wanted to go in this avenue of crochet. Like, for me, the main reasons why I post on here, on TikTok and on Instagram, is because I love crochet, and I wanted to find other people, a little community of people who also crochet, who are also in the fibre arts, who I could kind of bond with and connect with, share ideas and patterns and tutorials and all of that fun stuff with. And that's pretty much like how I kind of got into it, which is great, because, you know, I love the people that I found on all various social media apps. I love connecting with people. I love having conversations about crochet. It has very much become a special interest for me, so I love talking about it as well. I love sharing my love for crochet. I love sharing my patterns and my ideas and what I'm doing and what I've created, all of that fun stuff. But in my mind, I've never set out to monetize this hobby. And I think for me personally, like, I've monetized every single hobby that I've ever had, and I really, really, really have tried not to do that with crochet. Like, I've actively kind of worked against monetizing crochet in any way, because for me, as soon as it becomes a business, as soon as it becomes something that I have to do, I don't like it anymore. I end up hating it, and that's what's happened with all of my other hobbies in the past, is that I've ended up monetizing it, I've ended up turning it into a business, or attempting to. It's burnt me out. I've hated doing the thing. I no longer enjoy doing the thing, so then I've just stopped doing it in its entirety. So I really have actively tried not to do that with crochet, and I've kind of like accidentally fallen into pattern designing, which I'm very grateful for. You know, I'm very blessed that people actually like the things that I tend to freehand. It's a big compliment to me, because I don't really have a specific kind of style. I just create what I want and create things that I like. So I think for me, it's like I need to almost like remind people that when I crochet, when I post videos on here or whatever, I'm crocheting the things for myself first. Like, I crocheted that cardigan because I had one, I loved it, I wanted another one, and that's why I created that cardigan. I didn't create that cardigan because I wanted to then release it as a pattern. I created it because I wanted the thing, and then people liked it, so I was like, okay, fine, let's write a pattern, you know? And I feel like you just don't really kind of see that much anymore, that people aren't kind of set out to become an influencer or become a, you know, create a business from their hobby. This was very much a long tangent to say that I crochet for myself first, and if people enjoy it, people want a tutorial, people want a pattern, maybe I'm up for it. Sometimes I'm gonna say no, respectfully. Sometimes I just create things for myself. Sometimes I don't want to share, you know. Sometimes I will be willing to, but yeah. So the stage I'm at now is that I've just put a tester call out, and that is basically me reaching out to people on my social media saying that I want some people to test this pattern for the cardigan for me. And the reason why we do a pattern test is to make sure that the pattern actually makes sense, so that people are, you know, making the garment from the pattern that I've provided, but also so I can make sure that it fits on like any and all body sizes, because this is a made to measure pattern. For me, it's being plus size, being kind of awkward shaped, having big boobs, like, you know, having big arms, that sort of thing. I want to make sure that this pattern is size inclusive in every way possible. So I am definitely looking for plus size pattern testers when it comes to testing this pattern, because there is a lot of fat phobia in the crochet community. I don't think it's as active as a lot of people think. Like, it's not like, you know, people are calling each other fat on people's videos, that sort of thing. I think it's very passive, and if you are fat, if you are plus size, you've probably seen it, you can probably feel it, you probably feel that something's like not quite right. I'm quite good at identifying fat phobia when it's passive, because, you know, I've dealt with it for a very long time. So there is fat phobia in the crochet community, unfortunately, and that's a whole other topic that I'm not going to delve into. But for me personally, I want to specifically highlight my plus size babes with this cardigan, you know, and I want to make sure that anybody who is plus size, who is looking at buying this cardigan pattern, can see it on a body type that is similar to theirs. You know, I want them to feel represented. I want them to be like, oh, I can make this because this person has made it and it looks great on them. So that's where I'm at currently. I have had the tester call out for maybe about 4 days, and the way that I usually do it is that I put out a Google form and people will fill out the information on the Google form. I put down all of the deliverables, I put down maybe any special techniques that you need to do with this cardigan to make sure that the people who are applying are maybe confident in their skills or comfortable that they can do those kind of things, and also so they're not like surprised when they see the pattern and see that it involves this kind of specific skill that they may need to learn. When I last looked at the Google form, I had about 60 applications, which is way more than I even imagined I would get. So I have a long job of going through the applications, and for me personally, I typically check out their social media just to see kind of the other things that they've crocheted, see kind of roughly where their skill set is at, and to also see the kind of content that they post. And another key thing for me is obviously the size that they are, or the size that they're going to be making. Again, like I mentioned, I am focused on looking for my plus size people. That's not to say that the smaller sizes or the straight sizes are not important. They absolutely are, but as a plus size person, I'm going to be highlighting my plus size babes. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be going through all of the applications, kind of like cross-referencing against their social media. I will be doing like a little short list, and then typically what I do is that I will send everyone an email, usually like a week or 5 days ahead of when I plan on sending the pattern. I send everyone an email to say like, you've been selected, here are the deliverables, here's the deadline date, is that still cool with you? And then when everyone gets back to me, or if everybody gets back to me, then I know that they are kind of ready to go and they are fine with all the deliverables. They also have you know, opened that line of communication with me, and then I can send them the pattern, which I believe I'm going to send them next Saturday. So that's kind of my process so far. I did this with my Wave Hello top pattern and it went really well. I also, a new thing that I did with the Wave Hello top is that I put everyone in an Instagram group if they said that they wanted to be in one, and I think that has really helped with kind of like you know, morale and like the camaraderie of it. And then as well from my perspective, if there was like a specific issue that like everybody was having, I know that it's something that I need to kind of highlight in the pattern, or it's something I need to rectify in the pattern. So I think that that's like the way forward, is to kind of get everyone in a little group chat, and then everyone kind of feels a little bit more supported in that way. And it also kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of me, especially where some people are in like different time zones and stuff. If I'm not, you know, immediately available to answer a question, somebody is there to assist just in case. So that's what's on the agenda today, and I will keep you posted on my progress.
Okay, so I actually can't remember like what my last update with this was, but I contacted all of my pattern testers. I think I just had one person who didn't respond right away, because I typically will email all of my pattern testers, which I do include in the like tester form that people apply to. I do mention on there that I am going to be emailing people, so obviously people know to keep an eye on the emails. And then when I have selected them, I also post on Instagram and TikTok, so that anyone who's applied knows to just double check their emails, because I know with emails, like, not everyone checks them every single day. I'm a millennial though, so I'm very used to kind of like regularly checking my emails and like my junk folder and stuff. So yeah, so emailed everyone. I think I only had one person who didn't respond, which is totally fine, because I usually do, the way I kind of organize it is that I will have like a full list of the people that I want, that I've selected, and then I kind of like have like a reserve list essentially, just in case, you know, people can't do it anymore within the time frame, or in case I don't hear back from people. So I kind of have like a backup list of people to kind of check to choose from. So yeah, so I only had one person who didn't respond. Ended up emailing the kind of reserve person. They were free, they were available, they got back to me like pretty much straight away. And then I emailed the first part of the pattern over to everybody, and I put everyone into a group chat on Instagram as well. This is my third pattern that my fourth pattern that I've had tested, and I've definitely like learned something new each time I've done a pattern test. And I think the previous one I did was the Wave Hello top, and that one went really well in terms of the actual testers, the kind of communication that I had with the actual testers, and the almost like, you know, the kind of camaraderie and the community aspect of it felt a lot better during the Wave Hello top testing. And I think that was pretty much solely down to the fact that I'd put everyone into a Instagram group chat, so everyone was able to kind of chat amongst themselves. We had some people kind of on different time zones, so like when I was asleep there was some other people who were able to kind of chat with whoever it was who was messaging, and then I was able to kind of join in when I was awake, sort of thing. So that actually really helped. So that's what I've done for this pattern test as well, and it's going well so far. I've kind of, the way I usually do it is like I put everyone in the group, I send like a little intro message just to say like thank you so much, and like, you know, here's the group chat, like, you know, I'm expecting to send the pattern to you guys on this day, like introduce yourself, let me know what color palette you'll be using, or like what you're most excited for about testing this pattern, that sort of thing. And then usually everyone will respond, and then you kind of, it's a bit more, it's like a little icebreaker, you know, it's not just like I dump everyone in a group chat and then not say anything. So that ends up working quite well. Like I said, I've sent over the first part of the pattern via email. I also usually send it in the group chat as well, just so people maybe they don't check their emails or don't want to have it on their like laptop or their computer, they have it on their phone then as well. I send the pattern in 2 parts, and that's honestly just to kind of like protect myself more than anything. With 2 of the pattern tests that I've done, I've had people ghost me. I had somebody block me once because I was like, hello, you know, like is everything okay? okay, and then they just blocked me. So yeah, so I've had kind of issues with just sending the whole pattern. I don't know if maybe that was like somebody's intention from the jump, that they were like, I want to apply to test this pattern so I essentially get a free pattern. I'd like to think that people aren't that malicious, or you know, don't have that kind of like intention when they apply to pattern test. I really hope that that's not the case, but you never know. So to kind of like, you know, protect myself, protect my, essentially my intellectual property, because that is what a pattern is, you know, it takes a lot of work to write the pattern as well, so I don't want to essentially be sending it for free. So I send the first part of the pattern, and then I also have like a Google folder, and then in the Google folder I have a folder for each person, and so towards the end of the pattern test they will be able to add their photos, their feedback, and then their video of the final garment to their folder. So then it kind of like alleviates the whole like, oh, it didn't attach to the email, or like the file's too large, or you know, any kind of email issues, maybe it went into junk, whatever. I don't really want to be faffing around with that kind of thing, so that's why I stick to the Google folder. And that's also something I do mention in the pattern tester application form, is that you will need to have an email address that is like, you know, accessible via a Google form, which I think is all email addresses, but I just put it there just as a almost like a heads up. But that's kind of where I'm at so far. Everyone is kind of, obviously it's an 8-week turnaround time, so people are kind of like ordering their yarn and they're like kind of just getting started. So I'm not expecting people to like really, you know, bash it out super quick, because 8 weeks is a long time. Obviously if they get it done sooner, that's great, but I'm not expecting people to kind of like zoom through it. So this is going to be like a nice long kind of chilled process for the pattern testers, which is one of those things where I'm not used to that just yet, because the other pattern tests I've done have been like, I think a max of like 4 weeks, so I've usually had shorter turnaround time, so I usually kind of see a lot more of the progress a lot quicker. Whereas this time around, obviously people are taking their time, which is, you know, understandable. That's, I would be doing the exact same thing. People are taking their time a little bit more, so I'm not getting as many updates as I usually would, but you know, it's an 8-week pattern test, like that's to be expected. I've also made a start on my own Check Me Out cardigan, because I do have my own in the kind of teal and purple, the dark purple that I showed at the beginning of the video, but I do want to make another one, and I've kind of wanted to make this color palette for a while, because I've had this yarn knocking around and I was like, this would make a great Check Me Out cardigan. So I've made a start. When I say I made a start, I've done one full panel already. So this is, and the thing is that obviously because it's my pattern, I can do it in whatever order that I want. So the pattern that the first part of the pattern that I've sent, I've done the back panel and the sleeves, but obviously I've done the front panel first because I just want to. So this is the kind of color palette I'm going for. It's a really beautiful baby pink and like a lemon pastel yellow. I also realized, literally like I think maybe 3/4 of the way through doing this is the third yellow and pink project that I've done. Like I've done my blossom cardigan, which was like a bright version. I did my shell t-shirt, which had white in it as well, but that was also very pastel colors, and now this. So it's giving Mr. Blobby, but like in the best way. So apparently I like yellow and pink together, but I'm not mad at it. I think this is gonna be really cute. So yeah, this is the first kind of front panel for the cardigan, and then I am probably like 20% of the way through the second front panel, and then obviously I'll have the back panel, the sleeves, and then the ribbing to do. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna have enough of the yellow, because I have like I think I have 300 grams of the pink, and then I have about 220 of the yellow, but I do have a plan in place just in case I run out of the yellow, because I have this really beautiful like peachy, you know, creamy peach kind of color. Damn, that was so loud. The ice cream man is here. That was so aggressive. The ice cream man is here. Does anyone want anything? But yeah, so I have this really lovely like peach color that I can incorporate into the piece, either maybe like the ribbing, or depending on how far I can kind of get the yellow to stretch, I might do it on like yeah, like the ribbing, or maybe like the edges of the sleeves, because I'll probably end up doing the sleeves last. So I will see how I go, but that is kind of like how it's looking so far. But yeah, it's all going well. Okay, so some time has passed since my last update, but it's not actually been that long. It's probably been maybe like a week and a half, maybe like 10 days, something like that. But I have like sped through my own cardigan. I don't know, maybe because I'm using an Aran weight yarn. I don't know if it's maybe because I'm using an Aran weight yarn, or you know, when you just get like really into a project. But it seems to be working up super quickly, even though I'm making it bigger than my other Check Me Out cardigan, and that took me like a pretty normal amount of time. So I'm thinking it's down to the, you know, the thickness of the yarn, but it's not like super anyway, whatever. The front panels and the back have been done, and I've sewed them together. So this is kind of what it looks like on, wait, is this the right way? Yes. Okay, so yeah, this is what it looks like so far. This is so cute, actually. I really love this colour palette. I definitely think I'm going to do a little steam block, because I find that with Aran yarn, typically things end up a little bit stiffer. I'm using a bigger hook than I usually would with Aran. So I'm using a 6mm hook, because I find that this particular brand, which I think is the Majestic Aran, but the Majestic seems to be thicker than other Aran yarn that I've tried. So I don't know why, but I'm using a 6mm hook with the Majestic Aran yarn. And it's not as, like, the drape is fine, but it's definitely like a lot stiffer than I'm used to. So I'm probably gonna like steam block the whole thing once I've like constructed it all. But anyway, here is the, you know, the basic construction. This is the back. And then obviously I'll do my ribbing and stuff. And then, you know, I mentioned that I think I'm going to run out of yellow yarn. I didn't run out, but basically what I did when I started the sleeves, you can see obviously I've incorporated the peach. But when I started the sleeves, I weighed, because I did the front panels and the back panel first, and then whatever yellow I had left over, I weighed it, and I had exactly 100 grams. I wanted the sleeves for this to be baggier than normal, and usually I need 100 grams per sleeve. So obviously half pink, half yellow. I was like, could potentially do both sleeves with the 50 grams of yellow, but I want to do my sleeves bigger and a little bit kind of looser, because I ideally with this cardigan want to be able to wear like long sleeve stuff under it. I want this to be a very warm, cozy, kind of oversized fit. Yeah, so I obviously wanted to do my sleeves bigger. So basically what I did is I weighed it, and then I rewound it into 50 gram skein, so then I knew how much I would have for each sleeve. I do actually have a little bit of yellow left over, because I didn't use all 50 grams of each, because it was basically like I wouldn't have been able to do a full yellow checkered kind of row. It would have been like halfway through. So I do have a little bit of yellow yarn left, but it's not enough to like really kind of continue with this project, so I'll just use it for a scrap project probably. But yeah, so I basically incorporated this peach colour into the rest of the sleeve. So I think this looks actually really cute. I think this is a really cute colour combination. Kind of reminded me of like sweets. So the vibe is this. This is the vibe. This is the vibe. I think this is really cute. This is obviously my hand. This will be the end of the sleeve. And then what I'm planning to do is, yeah, this is actually going to look so cute. So what I'm planning to do is obviously for the ribbing around, so I've got ribbing to do around the neckline and the bottom, and then the sleeves, the wrist sleeves. So I'm going to do peach ribbing, this peach yarn for the ribbing on the sleeves, and then I'll do pink for everywhere else, because then otherwise it just kind of looks like I've like plonked in the peach, which I technically have, but I want it to kind of look a little bit more intentional, you know? So I think it's looking real cute so far. I actually really love this colour combination. I think it looks so nice. I think this is going to be so cozy. It's giving Mr. Blobby, but like in the best way, you know? And I actually really like the little pop of peach. I was a bit like, I'm probably gonna like notice it and be like annoyed at it, but other people probably not really kind of see an issue with it. But I'm not annoyed by it, you know? I actually really love the addition of the peach. I think it's actually really cute. And I think with the ribbing being peach also, I think it's actually gonna look real cute. But yeah, anyway, I have made a start on the, well, I say I made a start, I keep saying like I made a start, but I basically finished it. So on the second sleeve, I am now up to the peach row. So I've only got like maybe like 12 rows left of my next sleeve, so that I'm currently in the middle of, and then I can assemble my sleeves and then get started on the ribbing. And the ribbing is honestly the best part, because it's like you know you're finished, you know, it's like you know that you're nearly done. And for some reason I can get ribbing done quite quickly. I don't know why, I'm not sure why, but and as well with this chunky yarn I'll probably speed through it, you know. But yeah, that's my little update, and I think it's going really, really well. And there's minimal ends to weave in as well, which I love, considering it's like a really fun kind of colour work piece. It's, oh, I just love it. I just love it. I love this so much. A little update on kind of like how my testers are doing. So we are approaching, I believe, week 4 of the pattern test. I've had kind of semi-regular updates from people, but it's an 8-week pattern test, you know, so I'm not really expecting like, you know, rapid constant messages, which is kind of more what I experienced with the Wave Hello top, because it was a short turnaround time, and as well it's like a small top, you know. So I've heard from pretty much everyone. I think there's only just one person that I've not heard from at all, but I don't know if it's just a case of like they're just busy and they crack it on with it. So I plan on messaging the group on the 4-week mark, which is this Saturday, which is in a couple of days, and I'm going to message everyone in the group chat just to kind of ask for a little update, see how everyone's getting on, see if anyone's like, you know, give everyone the opportunity to be like, if you've changed your mind, or if, you know, life stuff has gotten in the way or whatever it is, let me know, because I'd rather kind of know at this point, and then I can like discount it in my mind, you know. So yeah, so that's the kind of plan. And if I don't hear from everybody, I'll probably give everyone like maybe like 4 days, 5 days to get back to me, because I know everyone's not like chronically on their phone. And if I don't hear from some people, I'll probably either message them separately on Instagram or just pop them an email, because some people are a little bit more kind of responsive via different like methods of communication. So that's my POA for my testers, and I've seen a lot of my testers pieces, I think like 80% of them, and they're looking really good. There's some really cool color combinations. I was secretly hoping that someone was going to do Demon Slayer color combination, because I recently started watching Demon Slayer, and I was like, that would make a really cool color combo, and someone is, and I wasn't sure if they did it accidentally or not, so I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of Demon Slayer, and they were like, yeah, exactly, and I was like, oh my god, so I got really excited. But yeah, so some really cool color combinations from my testers. I feel like everything's going quite well. Everyone's like sharing their updates in the group chat and on their like stories and on TikTok and stuff, which is really fun for me to see. But yeah, a pretty good update. I reckon I'll probably have my cardigan finished, like, because it's Thursday today, I'll be crocheting tomorrow, and then I don't know, maybe like middle of next week, because I mean ribbing takes me, I'm relatively quick at it, but obviously I have a life and like I work and stuff as well, so probably like maybe Monday or Tuesday, I reckon, by next week. I reckon I could get this whole thing done. So I'll keep you posted, but it's going well so far. I'm actually really pleased with how it's going, so see you in the next update. Every time I'm about to start filming, there's like somebody with a motorcycle outside. Every time I'm like, oh, I'll just record a little bit. Even when I'm recording for TikTok, every time. It's one person. I'm pretty sure it's just one person on a motorcycle, just ruining my day. I hate them. I don't know them. I don't hate them, but it's very annoying. Just gonna have to deal with it. So my cardigan is very nearly finished, which is very exciting. So I finished off the sleeve and I did my ribbing at the end. Obviously I need to weave in ends, but let's not talk about that. So I think the sleeves turned out really cute. Obviously I added in the peach kind of towards the end for the last like 3 squares, and then I did the ribbing in the peach as well, and I think it ties in really, really nicely with the rest of the cardigan. I do think it looks really cute, and I'm glad that I kind of like had this idea at the start of the project, otherwise I feel like it would feel really unintentional, like just adding an additional color. So here's the cardigan, and I've done the bottom ribbing for now as well. So I've just got one more bit of ribbing at the top to add, but I need to decide on what buttons I want to do because I can't really decide. So I have these ones which are really, really beautiful. They're like a pearly kind of vibe. They've got these like etched lines on the side, so it kind of like is like slightly multifaceted, and then they're oval shaped as well, and I've never seen an oval button before, or at least like I don't own any oval buttons, so I think these will be a really cute addition. And I think obviously color wise they go really nicely with the kind of pastel vibes. I also have these buttons which are also really, really cute. So they kind of have like a little shell aspect to them. They're like a brighter yellow with like a creamy, they're all slightly different as well. They're with like a creamy white kind of I guess like, I don't even know, like a creamy white like stripe going through some of them, and I just think they're really, really beautiful. I think they're lovely. They catch the light really nicely, and I feel like they would go really nicely with the cardigan. It is going to be on pink ribbing, so in terms of like the kind of contrast, it will be slightly more contrasting having the yellow ones versus the pearl ones, but I can't really decide. So I'm gonna see how I feel. I think I'm gonna, because I usually start on the side that I need to do the buttons, so I'm gonna start and then I will bring both of the buttons like to my sofa, which is my crochet spot, to see how I feel, and then I will decide then, because I do feel like as much as I love the yellow ones, I think the size of the pearl ones will fit a bit better, because I'm going to be doing this ribbing a little bit wider, a little bit chunkier, and I don't want these buttons, the yellow ones, to get lost. I think the pearl ones will kind of size wise fit a little bit better. It's such a shame because I have so many cool buttons, but so many of them are really small. But yeah, it'll be fine. So that's where I'm at. That is my update. It's going very well. I've heard from a couple of the testers who just kind of provided like general updates. The first half of the pattern is the back panel and the sleeves, and pretty much everyone is on the sleeves already, which is great news. Or everyone I've heard from at least. There's a couple of people I haven't really kind of received any updates from, but that's fine. Like I think I mentioned before that it's I think tomorrow is the 4-week kind of mark, I guess, and then I'm just going to get in touch with everyone and ask everyone to give me an update if they haven't already, and if I don't hear from people within like a few days, I'll just drop them like a message via like personal DMs on Instagram or emails, because I know not everyone looks at the group because it can be quite overwhelming sometimes with the sheer amount of messages. Not that it's like loads and loads of messages, but you know what I mean. So yeah, so it's going very well. Everyone's on track to finish on time. I'll hopefully be sending part 2 of the pattern to some people soon, and yeah, it's going well. It's going so well. Okay, so we are on week 6 of 8 of the pattern test, and I haven't really provided much of an update from what week 4 till now, just because things have been ticking along. My testers are doing a really good job. A lot of them are on part 2 of the pattern, so they are now working on the front 2 panels and then the ribbing and like the assembly and just finishing it all off. So they're very kind of close to the end of the test and the end of, you know, completing the cardigan, which is great. The only kind of update I have is that 2 of the pattern testers did drop out for personal reasons, which I'm obviously not going to air on here, but I am completely understandable. You know, life stuff happens, I get it, and I'm just very, very grateful that they got in touch with me, because I think the worst thing is that like if somebody's obviously going through something, or you know, they can't complete the pattern test for whatever reason, but they just ghost you, I think that is considerably worse. Like that I actually find to be quite rude, and I get very frustrated by it. So I'm just very, very grateful that they felt that they could let me know, and they were comfortable enough to let me know that they couldn't complete the pattern test, which is totally fine by me. And you know, it's one of those things where the fact that 2 of them have dropped out, it is a shame, but you know, life stuff happens. When you are doing a pattern test and when you are a pattern designer, you kind of have this like mutual agreement that like you're going to fulfill the deliverables. It's like you've accepted this essentially like fake contract with the designer that like you're gonna deliver these things and the designer is gonna give you this pattern for free or whatever else that they're gonna do, you know, and you have this mutual agreement. So I'm just very grateful that these pattern testers felt that they could let me know, and they reached out to me, and you know, it's totally fine, I'm totally understandable. But yeah, so that's kind of my main update. One of the pattern testers I actually haven't heard from at all throughout this process, which when I did kind of initially select everybody, I did have a feeling that this person may not communicate or kind of do the pattern test. So I kind of had this inkling from the beginning, and I honestly wish I kind of like trusted my gut a little bit more, but it's not the end of the world. I've only sent them part 1 of the pattern, so you know, it's fine. Other than that, the actual testing is going well. I think there's a couple of people who are maybe gonna be a little bit delayed on like the deadline day, but they again have communicated that to me. They've let me know, which I'm totally fine with, because if they're able to provide me with like the feedback, and then I can edit the pattern, and then it's just a case of them maybe like weaving in the ends or like being able to have time to take the photos and blah blah blah, then I can like slot that in afterwards, you know, so it's not as it's not a big deal, you know, if they don't kind of hit the deadline day in that sense. I'm really excited to release this pattern because I think it's like the perfect autumn and winter kind of crochet project. It's just super cozy, it's super warm. I'm really excited to get this pattern out. Okay, updates. I realized, because I've just started editing this video, that I didn't actually share the finished Check Me Out cardigan, and conveniently I'm actually wearing this today just as part of my outfit. This is the final finished cardigan, this super cute Mr. Blobby-esque drumstick lolly, rhubarb and custard, sweet shop, what else, vibe that this cardigan is super cute. Here is my little kind of peach addition to the end, and then I did go for the kind of oval shell buttons, which I think are really cute, and I just did 3 of those. So this is my finished Check Me Out cardigan. Super adorable. I've worn it so much already. Yeah, I've worn it a ton already. I think it goes with so many of my kind of existing clothes, so I find it really easy to like pair and really easy to like match and incorporate into my existing kind of clothes, which is great because I don't want to buy anything new. But yeah, this is my finished cardigan. In terms of the testers and how the kind of finishing process went, so I think my last update was around like week 6 of the 8-week pattern test, and my last update I also mentioned that I think 2 people had dropped out since then, and I think literally on that day I had another 2 people drop out, again for kind of personal things. Some people indulged what it was, some people just straight up said I can't finish it, and wished me well, you know, which again I appreciate. They let me know in advance. Obviously it's a shame. I'm you know, mildly disappointed that they couldn't have completed it, but life is what it is. I get it, it's totally cool. So yeah, so I kind of got quite a considerable decrease in my number of testers, which is unfortunate, but like I said, what can I do? So that was a bit of a shame. The person who I thought was going to not respond throughout the entire pattern test did not respond throughout the entire pattern test, which, like I mentioned, I should have just kind of trusted my gut. The only reason I kind of selected them was because their page looked really good, like the stuff that they made looked really good. They also looked like they did regular pattern testing, but the reason why I kind of got an inkling that they may not respond is because they weren't particularly responsive to the kind of first initial messages and emails and stuff that I had sent regarding, you know, testing the pattern. So that's on me. I'm hoping they didn't just ghost me. I'm hoping that it was just a case of like, maybe they didn't check their messages or whatever the scenario is. It's fine, no love lost. But yeah, that's kind of an update on those the bad things, let's say, the negatives, let's say. And then when we were coming up to the kind of 8-week mark, there was a few, I kind of obviously checked in with the testers to see how they were doing, and there were a few people who were saying that they, oh, it's a fly, a few people saying that they were probably going to be maybe like 3 or 4 days like late, essentially. So that weekend I was busy anyway. I was actually at my partner's sister's graduation, so I wouldn't have been able to do anything with the feedback and the photos and stuff that they were sending over anyway, so I just extended the deadline by a week. So it went from an 8-week pattern test to a 9-week pattern test, and I think everyone was very much appreciative of that, and it just gave everyone a little bit of extra time to kind of do those finishing touches. Also didn't want everyone to like hate the process, especially towards the end. I didn't want anyone to feel rushed, I didn't want anyone to feel stressed, so I was like, let me just extend it by a week. I can't do anything with this pattern when you deliver it anyway, so I'm totally fine to extend it by a week. And I think that helped an awful lot, and then that meant when the extra week did roll around, nobody was late, everyone was able to give me the photos, the video and the feedback that I needed. As a little debrief, I think this pattern test went very well. Like the pattern testers who were able to complete it, they crocheted their own versions of their cardigan, they sent me the deliverables, they sent me the photos and the feedback and the video and whatever, and that they ticked, you know, they did the thing. They did the things that I asked for within the space, the time frame that I had given them. They were all very, very amazing pieces. Like the pieces look awesome, and I'll share some videos and photos and stuff at the end so you can kind of see all of their work in all of its glory. But all of the feedback was super, super helpful as well. It was things that I hadn't really like considered, in terms of maybe I'd phrased something in a particular way, or like I had a couple of spelling errors here and there, stuff like that. So I think their feedback, their photos, their videos and stuff were invaluable to me, and I was able to apply all of their feedback to the pattern very, very easily. It was all very kind of reasonable accommodations or requests or things to kind of maybe just edit or amend and things like that. It was nothing kind of too major. So I started off this pattern test with 11 pattern testers, and 6 of them were able to complete it. So that means I had 5 pattern testers drop out, or like I just didn't hear from them. I had 4 pattern testers drop out, and then 1 of them I just didn't hear from the entire time, as I mentioned, which is totally cool. And again, it's totally cool that these people dropped out. Obviously it's a shame. I would have preferred to have more pattern testers, particularly in the plus sizes, but I can't force somebody to finish the pattern test, you know. It's like, I tried, I really did try. And I think for next time, like my next pattern test, I think particularly because I really want to highlight plus size pattern testers, I think next time I'm going to try my best to select as many plus size pattern testers as I can. That way, if any of them do drop out, I will kind of have at least a couple of other plus size pattern testers. It's one of those things where with this pattern test in particular, I just kind of went through my applications list. I only really had those who I selected as my plus size pattern testers. They were the only ones who were plus size who applied, you know. So hopefully on my next kind of tester application, I get more plus sizes apply. That means I can kind of select as many of them as possible, so when it comes to pattern testing, I have as many sizes available as possible. So I think that's kind of like the main difference, I guess, is that what I'll be kind of putting forward for my next pattern test. But overall, this experience has gone really, really well, and the pattern is officially out now. So you can get it on Coffee, which will be the cheapest place that you can find it. You can also get it on Etsy, and you can also get it on Ravelry. Etsy will be a little bit more expensive because they add on a bunch of fees, and they add on like an additional price, which I don't really understand. But yeah, Coffee is the cheapest place that you can get the pattern. So if you would like to crochet your own Check Me Out cardigan, I will put the links to all 3 of those places in the description below. And something else that I kind of want to like amend, I guess, or change for my next like tester or tester application is that I kind of I did a little bit of research, I guess. There's a really good Instagram page called the Size Inclusive Collective, and they kind of do a lot of work with size inclusivity in the fiber arts and kind of sewing world. and their research that they've done is really helpful, and they recently did like kind of a series of posts regarding pattern testing, particularly when it comes to inclusivity and what is expected from the tester and what is expected from the designer. And I thought it was really interesting, the things that they had brought up, and also I kind of spent some time going through the comments to see what other pattern testers and other crocheters, other fibre artists had to say. And what I kind of realized was that, and what I kind of came to agree with, was that a lot of the time with the pattern tester calls, there's like a lot of deliverables when it comes to like posting on your stories or posting a TikTok, posting on your main feed, blah blah blah, those kind of things. And that's something that I actually included in the deliverables for this pattern test. But for my next pattern test, which is currently happening for the Zip It sweater, I actually removed all of those deliverables because I realized that like our pattern testers aren't our marketing team, you know, and I don't want any of the testers to think that like whether they have a big following or whether they post loads on their social media is going to affect whether I select them or not. Not that it ever did, because that's not something that I personally ever really looked at when I was choosing my testers. Like, I don't really care if you have 100 followers or 100,000. It doesn't matter to me. It's more just the quality of like the crochet that you do. So that's something that I kind of removed and will be for future pattern tests removing, because the pattern testers are not our marketing team, and I think it's actually quite unfair to ask people to essentially do your marketing for them. It's one of those things that people have like a crochet account, a fibre arts account, and they want to post about the process of pattern testing. That is totally cool. I am, you know, I encourage it, I love it, tag me in it, I want to see it. But if you don't want to, if you don't have a crochet account or a fibre arts account, that is totally fine also. I just want to be able to see it, so send me the photos so that I know that you're actually, you know, doing the pattern test and you're enjoying it, and you know, we're doing it correctly, blah blah blah. So I think that's something that I've kind of learnt, and something that I will be implementing moving forward with all of my pattern tests. There was also something about like turnaround times as well, which I thought was quite interesting, particularly for plus sizes. I have come to realize I am quite a quick crocheter, so even as a plus size person, like this cardigan, I had to kind of look through my calendar and my diary. This took me from start to finish, as in like woven in my ends, which often is where my delay comes from. Start to finish, this took me 12 days. So that's quick for a cardigan, for a plus size cardigan, you know, that's I think quite quick. And so for me, I kind of find it a little bit difficult to judge a time frame of like when is good, what would be a good and normal amount of time for somebody to be able to crochet a whole garment in, you know, sizes that are bigger than mine also. That's something that I kind of need to consider a little bit more as well, and will be in the future. Obviously this one was a 8-week turnaround time, but I extended it to 9. So I think for moving forward, anything that's like a sweater or a cardigan, I think 10 weeks is like a good amount of time, particularly for plus sizes, to be able to get it done. Especially if people work full-time, or if they work part-time, they've got kids, they've got other, you know, responsibilities, that sort of thing. They don't necessarily have a lot of time to crochet. Like, I work as well, and I crochet in the evenings and I crochet in the weekends, or if I've got a day off work, that sort of thing. That's kind of where I'm thinking in terms of turnaround time, is just to extend it, because as well for me, it's like I'm actually in no rush to get these patterns out. Obviously I'd like to get them out sooner rather than later, but I'm not like, oh, it has to be out by this date. So I'm always happy to extend a deadline, I'm always happy to offer a little bit more time, but rather than doing that halfway through the pattern, I can just do it right at the start and be like, okay, from 8 weeks we're going to 10 weeks, you know. So I think they're the kind of key things that I have learned throughout this pattern testing and creating and writing process. But yeah, overall I think it's been a great success. I am really pleased with how all of my pattern testers kind of interpreted the cardigan in their own way, with like their color palettes and the fits as well. I really enjoy what they created, and I hope they do too. And I'll put a little clip at the end so you can see my pattern testers versions, and I'll put their socials in the description in case you would like to go and follow them on Instagram. But yeah, this whole process has gone really well. I'm very pleased. Like I said, the pattern is out now, so if you would like to purchase it, you can go go to the description and you will find the link there. And I hope you enjoyed this video, because when I was kind of looking at what the hell do I do when it comes to releasing a pattern, there wasn't actually that much that I could find. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this is maybe like a little bit educational. If you are a pattern tester and you've got any feedback for me, please hit me up, let me know, because I would love to improve, you know. I love to learn, I love to grow, so anything to improve would be great. And even if you just enjoyed this video, feel free to drop me a like, leave me a comment. I would love to connect with you guys. If you want to follow me on my other socials, you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at Not Half Bad, and I will pop my @ in the description below. And if you enjoy crochet content from vlogs to tutorials, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys on the next one.